Today it's a digital world, right? Post COVID, we've been all of us are very much tuned to using digital technologies for doing a lot of our transactions. And when we do that, obviously there are going to be additional cyber risks that are coming in, and we as professionals, we will need to make sure that we are aware of the same. I can just give you an example. I was making a presentation sometime a couple of months back. It was a women in leadership kind of a panel discussion that was happening. And during that discussion, it went very well. And after the discussion was over, in one of the social media, someone had taken a pic of me in the panel discussion, and they obviously had written quite a bit of good comments about that particular session, and they had just sent a mail. This particular incident actually opened my eyes to just see how people are actually using some of I never thought for a minute that someone is going to take a picture of me and then putting a comment on that, right? So that's not something that I had really expected, but that really opened my eyes to kind of see who are the people who I am actually connected to in my social media, who are the people who are following me, and things like that is something that I started looking into my own profile. So in this particular era of everything being digital, it's very important for us to be very careful. According to Crime in India Statistics Volume 2 by National Crime Records Bureau, NCRB, a total of 10,405 cyber crimes against women was reported in 2020, which is about 24% higher than 2019. So obviously the number of cases are definitely increasing. And if you look at the cyber crime, there could be about 4 to 5 brackets that we can look at. One is in terms of cyber blackmailing or threatening. The next one is in terms of cyber pornography. The third one is cyber stalking. Fourth one is defamation, fake profiling, and then they classify it as other crimes against women, which is also towards cyber crimes only, but more in terms of financial frauds and things like that, right? So 7,184 7,184 records, have been reported against other crimes against women. And cyber pornography is the next one, which had about 1,655 cases being reported. So as we see it, it's definitely there that the crimes are kind of increasing in this new world of the digital era, and we need to be extremely careful when we are working on in the digital platforms. We will need to look at cybersecurity. We will need to start talking about cybersecurity at home, right? So we will, it's not only on the financial bit, but I will also add in terms of the digital environment where our children and the elderly and senior citizens are all hooked on in terms of using digital, the digital era. Right, so the first one is cyber and security needs to start at home. We will need to make sure we teach our children and the elderly in terms of the awareness from a cyber security standpoint. So that will be very, very important. We will also need to be making sure that we have certain simple steps that we take. The first one is to not share our information in public. Be very cautious in terms of whatever we are going to be sharing. So that will be very, very important. And the way I would look at, from a financial fraud standpoint, one is to keep information by, how much you want to share. Don't believe in every mail that is being sent to you, right? Be cautious in terms of the mails that you receive. Don't click any particular link that is being sent to you. keep your passwords very, very safe. And when you talk about passwords, I would think don't kind of have your birthdays as your PIN number. Simple stuff like don't keep your PIN number along with the card that you're taking, or in the same pouch that you're going to be taking in. And also be very restrictive in terms of sharing of your personal information in public. Say, let's take for example, you're going into a particular building, or into your friend's apartment. Make sure that you don't share some of your confidential information as part of the visitors register that is available, right? And be cognizant in terms of the online deals that are coming in, or the advertisements that get published when you open a website. There is always a certification, right? If you open a web, there is a security certification tab, a small lock that will be there on your web browser. Whenever you're getting onto your bank details, make sure that you click that and see whether that particular website belongs to the bank, actual bank that you are trading on, right? And also be very restrictive in terms of accepting any particular invite that you get. Unless you know the person, be very restrictive in terms of whom you can kind of accept the invite. So these are some of the key items that we can do. And the most important one I would look at it is in terms of the monitoring part of it. Go through your financial statements regularly, your credit card statements. Make sure that there are no unauthorized or a transaction that you've not made. So do all of that whenever you have once you do a transaction. Make sure that you've received a text message and things like that, and go through your financial statement. So these are some tips that I would kind of give to colleagues when they're trading from a financial standpoint. I would kind of request the viewers to go to the DSCI website, where they have given a lot of information in terms of the do's and don'ts when you are doing work from an from an online standpoint. As far as how we can approach it, there are two methods. One, you could do an online, you can do an online complaint, or you can do it an offline kind of a complaint, or there's an emergency contact which is 181 that you can call when you kind of observe something from a security standpoint. There are websites that you can do, which is the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal, and the other one is National Commission for Women, where you can raise these complaints, and that's how you can approach it. And the most important thing that I would want to mention is, if you have a particular doubt about something, please raise concerns. If it's something that you find within an organization, I'm sure there are the security team to whom you can go and raise this particular complaint. If you see at the start of the pandemic, I also got a mail saying that if you do not click this particular link, I will expose your personal records or your personal photographs, right? All that I did was to go and click the fish button that is there in Outlook to say that this is a phishing mail, right? So you got to make sure that you highlight that to the right people, and these are the other methods that are available for people to raise complaints in case they are facing any. See, everybody is at risk. Women is more at risk because they can be pretty sensitive in terms of how things come to them, right? And many a times possibly we don't speak up. So that's the reason that women are more targeted, and therefore we will need to be extra cautious in terms of whatever we do. So what I would look at is from a security standpoint, I would look at it into two things, right? The first one is we will need to make sure we look at the entire cyber security into the three areas, right? One is to making sure that information is secure, being vigilant, and third one is being resilient. When I talk about secured, it is making sure that we have preventive controls in place where we make sure that the configurations in your applications are fine. You have regular patch updates that are happening, passwords are strong, and things like that, right? The second one is in terms of the vigilance part of it is the monitoring. You got to monitor the activities that is being done, right? The logs have to be reviewed, your transactions have to be reviewed. So that'll be the second one. And the third one is being resilient. In case there is an incident that happens, make sure that you communicate that particular incident and take respective necessary actions against that. So that's how I would look at it. Apart from that, from an organization standpoint, today there are a lot of security policies and mechanisms that are there. But one of the areas where I think we can do little more is in terms of having platforms where people can speak up about any kind of incidents that have happened for women, which they can share with other women colleagues. So it's going to be a learning that can be shared. So that kind of a platform will go a long way. So this is how I would look at some of the measures that we can take to making sure that we are digitally secure. The only one thing I would like to mention as my last comment is embrace technology and be cyber smart.